Good afternoon, all you fabulous people. Hope you guys had a fantastic Rosetta release weekend. We had the Battle Hardened Sydney with the ProQuest Plus attached to it in Sydney. We'll do a little news on that. Code JCH gets you a free month of premium at Fyendal's collection. Great collection tracker tool, as well as able to keep track of market trends and stuff like that. The premium gets you the market trends as well as the EV tracker of boxes and stuff like that. Highly recommend giving the checkout. 24 subs, not 25. Thank you guys for your continued support. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And without further ado, let's look at some crazy Rosetta prices. My most interesting cards here are the EA Majestic generics. Truce and Call of the Grave have basically been sold out to $90 to $100. There really isn't that many listings of each, 3 and 4. They're exceedingly rare to pull. 10 foot tall and bulletproof, still got 16 listings at 42. I think it's less viable than the other two. I think Truce and Call of the Grave both have very good applications. Very good usage. They're also blue block. Call of the Grave is a block 2. But Truce is a blue block 3. Just pointing that out. Gone in a Flash EA is 89, which is crazy. I think a lot of people are cooking with Aurora. She did win the ProQuest Plus. Kano won the Battle Hardened. It was a mirror match on the same deck. With two friends, I believe, that played the same deck and built it together. So that's pretty cool. So Kano got a lot of stuff. Aurora seems the bounce back build. There's kind of a build with Flicker Wisp as like a kill thing. Just Gone in a Flash, I think, is gonna stick around. I think Acilio can use it pretty well too at $18. Very good card. It does everything. It's a 0 cost, it's a 4 attack, it blocks 3, and it has a busted effect to just keep recycling it back to your hand. I've seen it go 2 wide or 3 wide pretty easily. Plow Under, I think, is one of the better Earth cards. It really helps. It's a block 3, it has Arsenal Disruption, and it's just good. It decomposes. As well as, did I already mention Truce? I think at $5 for a non-foil. For generic, Majestic is too cheap. We all know how generic Majestics go, especially opening weekend. Nobody really knows what to do with them, and then all of a sudden it becomes in a couple viable decks. Then everybody uses it, and then it goes terminal. So I'd watch out for these generic ones, especially. Most of them are $5 or under. I think you can go ahead and pick up Call of the Grave, Truce, 10 foot tall and bulletproof, cut through the facade, basically, and get 3 of each of those and basically insulate yourself. That's like $60 total, roughly. And just one Warmongers is more expensive than that. So if any of these go crazy, you basically insulate yourself from those big spikes. I think Heartbeat of Candlehold is a little bit high here as well. The specializations, they're only usable in one hero. I expect them to go down. It's crazy that the generics are cheaper than some of these. I guess that just shows you how much people want to build the heroes. Less so much that these cards really aren't being used in the new heroes as well. Unsheath, I think, is a pretty good pickup for under $5. It seems like a auto include in pretty much any dual wield sword user. It's not usable on axes, so keep that in mind. But you just replace it. It's an auto slot. It has go again. It has everything you want as a dual wield sword person. Destructive Aethertide, I think, is a pretty good 0 cost blue block 3 for Wizard. It has Arsenal Disruption on a surge effect. It does 1 damage. But I think more importantly, it's just the blue block 3 on the majority of the time here. Felling Crown, I think, is another one of the... I think both Plow Under and Felling Crown are deserving of their $15 to $20 price tags. Same with Gone with the Flash. Channel Lightning Valley and Current Funnel both seem really strong. I think they'll probably, these I'm hard to tell on. It really depends on where the build settles, but these seem like, from what I've seen on the Battle Hardened, both of these seemed really good in Acilio and Aurora. Calming Gesture, I think, is a pretty good illusionist AB piece. Your hand slot is always kind of your weakest slot anyway, and then it kind of gives you a Spectral Shield, which is really good in Enigma and can be pretty good in Prism as well. I don't think it's worth $2.50. I'd hold off a little bit unless you need this for to win an Armory or whatever. I think the cold foil. I'm not even gonna look at the foils right now. Let's just talk non-foils. What else in here? Adaptive Dissolver, I think, is pretty good. As soon as Mechanologist determines they're going to be the meta, these will go crazy, in my opinion. These are AB for Mechanologist. It helps you with that matchup, especially as Tech Levasan. If these heroes do become, if the meta does become more fatiguey, Tech Levasan definitely comes in and will want 3 of these minimum, if not maybe 4. Mental Block. Splatter Skull, I think, is about $1 card. I think I mentioned that last week. Sigil of Brilliance, that seems about right for specialization 4 days after release. I think that's a pretty good pickup right now. Snuff Out, I gotta remember what this one does. When this hits a hero, you may destroy an aura you control if they do. This card seems too cheap at $2. It's a 1 cost, Runeblade action, 5 attack, so it's a 2 card blocker, 2 card in equipment. And if it hits, they discard a card if you destroy basically a rune champ. That's pretty crazy. $2 for that seems pretty good. Betsy Speckless. Flutter Steps, I think, is basically useless. It's probably just for Enigma New Moon. I would hold off on that one. Betsy, same thing. Last plays your Majestics. I think it's just the heroes, though, and then we'll move on. The Dust is under $1. I think anytime a Majestic is under $1, it's basically worth picking up. Calming Cloak, I think, is a hard pickup for the chest. For Illusionist, I think your chest piece in most cases is your big engine piece for a lot of your decks. Think Empyrean Rapture, Vestor Soul, Flamescale Furnace, Tunic. I just think that's better in all those situations. The heroes are all under $1. I recommend picking up the Majestic heroes if you need them. That's pretty good. All right, on to the legendaries. I think Arcanite Fortress at $16, $15, $18 is a steal. I haven't picked one up myself. I'm trying to work on a trade for an EA cold foil, even though I think this is probably overpriced still. There's 30 listings. There's 6 sales since the weekend, which isn't very much. Most of them are at like 85, 90. So it's still coming down. There's not very many buy pressure on this. I think it's a good card. It's especially a good card if you want to hold on to it. I think $15 is a good pickup for that. Face Purgatory at $50 being used at 4 Rune Blades, essentially, all of which are trying to become viable in the meta. Rune Blade seems really strong. 50, I think, is starting to get to a fair pickup price. I don't think it's going to drop as much as these other ones. Barkskin, I think, has room to drop. It's only usable by 2 heroes in CC, and it's decent. The Lightning Greaves really being used by Aurora. I could see it also being used for Acilio, depending on your build, but I've seen more arcane builds for like using Storm Striders. So I'd also bet these come down unless Aurora or Acilio comes the meta. Same thing with Barkskin. Aether Bindings of the Third Age, $14 for a Rainbow Foil Legendary seems like a pretty good price in my opinion. Like I said, the Cold Foil Arcanite Fortress I expect to come down. Barkskin, I don't know on the EA Barkskin, but Face Purgatory, I'm willing to bet this stays at like $100 to $120 after a few weeks here. It's a good card. It's an EA. It's got a good looking lady on it. So just watch out for that. Marvels. I think the adult heroes, 4 days after release, are all pretty fair, which is crazy. Normally we have one or two that's above 200 for a couple weeks. Just that's pretty crazy that these are already so low. Rosetta Thorn's coming down $50 at a time, which is crazy. Nobody's bought it since that 350. I have seen some listings on Facebook. I don't know if any of them sold, but they were for much lower. It was like 500, 650 offers to buy at like 450. So if you have a Thorn, I think probably right now a fair price is like 600 ish. As I said, these sigils, the majority of them are going to be pretty cheap. 15, 20, 25. I think what shocks me here is Sigil of Brilliance is $80 for a specialization one. It is one of the better ones, but pretty crazy for that one. The Briar. So what shocks me here as well is the Briars, I believe, are rarer than the inset heroes here, but they're a living legend, so they're cheaper. Might look out for these long haul. These may disappear from the market and go up. The young Marvels, basically none of them have sold. We've got Florian, Acilio, Aurora alternate art. We had one sale at Verdance at 78 and one Aurora Young at 103, and that was the first day. So really no sales have happened in the past 3 days of any of the young heroes. I would hold off on the young Marvel heroes. They're going to come down probably to like the $20 to $40 range depending on how viable they are, and that's where I would consider picking them up. All right, on to Grasp of the Arknight, the big popper of the weekend. Grasp was up to Rainbow Foil 140. About 2 a day, maybe 3 a day have been selling. Basically 2. But last week when we talked, this was basically, I think, an $80 card. There's a lot of Arcane Rising Rainbow Foil Grasp of the Arknights out there. I don't think this is 140, but this is being used in most of the Rune Blades to my knowledge. Until they show that they are the deck to beat, I would hold off on this, and unless you're trying to be hyper competitive, I would actually hold off of this as well. And if you must have a Grasp of the Arknight, I think you go for this white border at $95. Star City Games got it, and then Hidden Alley Gaming Shop. There's only 2 here though, so watch out for that. I don't know where these go. I think they get backfilled eventually. There's just been so many sales over the past weekend that I have a feeling that a lot of people haven't refilled their stock. So I would hold off on this. Zuri, we mentioned this last week that there was one guy that had the $35 adults. They are all gone, and they're back up to $73, which I think is a pretty fair price. Just a month ago, they were selling at like $85.90. So I still think that's a pretty good price, but I would use, if you're doing a private deal, I would use these 35s to leverage a lower price. Heart of Fyendal being used in Verdance is definitely caused this to go up. $375. Paul Transient here is a great guy. Highly recommend buying from him if you want a Heart of Fyendal. Balance of Justice keeps ticking up. The Rainbow Foil is 120. Still pretty good card. I think it just replaced Crown of Providence as your sideboard headpiece. If you're slotting in one headpiece, a generic headpiece, you're taking Crown of Providence. If you're taking 2, you're bringing Balance of Justice as well. But I have seen some of the decks experimenting with Arcanite Fortress and the Arcanite Skullcap combo, which is pretty interesting. Also kind of fun. This one baffled me. Dread Scythe is $50 for the cold foil. I think you just wait on this. The rainbow foil is $2. If you want bling, I'd take the $2 and run. Heck, even the normal one is like 25 cents if you don't need the bling. Just wanted to point out that it's popping off. One had sold at I think like 30. Warmongers, zero cost blue block 3 with a good effect, and 2 Rune Blades that like to do both non-attack actions and attack actions on the same turn. Is pretty good. Azalea is also kind of strong in the meta. $78. I don't think Dust Till Dawn's being opened, so I unfortunately don't think these get much cheaper. I mean, they come back probably down to like 60, 65, but I'm guessing it's going to keep... It'll get filled, and then it'll go back up and stuff like that. Titan's Fist, the cold foil. There was one here at $11 that was bringing down the price, and now it's back to $20. Just wanted to point that out real quick. Weakest link. There is 2 here that are unverified sellers, basically, at 50 to 55. If you need a copy of Weakest Link, I think those would be good to get. There's a whole playset here at 55. Then it goes to 61, then 65, and basically they go to 70, and then they're gone. There's only 10 listings on this total, and 1 playset, 2 playsets, 3 playsets, probably 5 playsets total. And then Weakest Link is gone from the market. A lot of instants and no blocks being run, and a lot of the heroes. This card seems the newer heroes, as well as Misfail, and like, yeah. So a lot of instants being run in the meta right now. So this is pretty good. Stonewall Gauntlet. I really ate my words on this one. I didn't think it was that good. It keeps creeping up because it's a generic arm piece that arm pieces are kind of the weakest spots. And it's filling in good. So it's up to $40 for the rainbow foil. The cold foil, I think, is your buy, though, at $49 to $50. $10 more for a cold foil that's 2 to 3 times rare. Seems like a good deal. Excuse me. Aether Spindle, the unlimited rainbow foil, is pretty much depleted from the market. There's only 3 listings here left. Righteous Gaming at $30. There's 2 here at $6 from Pika Bay. And then there's 1 here at $10. This is Arcane Rising Rare. It's just being used in the Wizards. It's really good. Opting is strong. And it's also good with the Surging. So you can really pick what you want. Then we got Flicker Wisp. These are being used in Aurora. The rainbow foil is up to $5. 1 left here, and then it goes to $6, then $7, and then there's not that many left. Kind of as a combo build. That's kind of interesting. Olympia Adult Marvel from Heavy Hitters, $75. I think that's a pretty good deal. He's not very viable, but he's been up there for a while. $75 seems the cheapest has been since it's released. So if you're in the market for an Olympia Marvel, now might be the time. Deathmatch Arena, $105. Seems to be pretty good pickup price. I think it's the lowest it's been in a year. Yeah. So if you need a Deathmatch Arena, now might be the time to consider it. I think I had Riptide up here because he still had 1 left, and I think before I made the video, the one sold. So the same guy had those $35 heroes, so they're all gone. The Sacred Art Jade Tiger Domain, $20 for this Marvel. Seems like a steal. This is still really good in Zen. Zen's not as good as he was, but this seems like a pretty good pickup if you're interested in Zen. Same thing. The adult Marvel Zen, $75. Seems like a pretty fair price as well. Reaping Blade, the rainbow foil, is up to $28. This is being used in a lot of decks. I don't think a Crucible rare is worth $30 in my opinion, but if you need the bling, it is cheap, $80 cheaper than the cold foil at least. Wait, let's look at the cold foil. Yeah, like $100 cheaper than the cold foil. But the non-foil is literally 20 cents. So if you need the card, I'd recommend buying the 20-cent normal copy. Unless you absolutely need the bling, I don't think the $30 is worth it. Black Tech Whispers. This card is too cheap. As Stackswell pointed out in his video, it's one of all. $20 is a cutoff for any kind of legendary. This is just one of the better. I don't see how they replace this with for assassins that run contracts. It gives go again. It hits a hero go again, and it has battle worn, as well as it does the silver generation recall back. And it's just generic assassins. So I think this is too cheap. It's Dynasty Legendary, which are pretty hard to pull. Nobody's really opening Dynasty anymore. Just wanted to point that out. KO, Armed and Dangerous. Doing pretty well in the meta still. His rainbow foil is $16. I think that's a steal for a little bling on your board that stays out the whole game. Yeah, so there's shoot, any of these I would say are a pretty good deal. I was picking up some of these. I really like the heavy hitters heroes, so I like having the rainbow foil versions, and I was picking them up at like 20. So this seems really fair. Especially for probably the most popular heavy hitters hero. And last but not least, Coronet Peak, the cold foil, is down to $16. A under $20 cold foil from a FAB 2.0 set. That is a pretty big steal, in my opinion. Yes, it's not being able to be used by anybody at the moment in CC. So buy with caution, but if you're looking for a collection piece and just looking at rarity and everything, I think $16 for Coronet Peak is a steal. All right. Hope you guys have a fantastic Tuesday. And code JCH gets you a free month of premium at Fyendal's Collection. Thank you guys for your time. Have a great day.